Hello, everyone. My name is Adesola Adeleke, and on behalf of my teammates, I'd like to welcome you to our presentation. We are Group 71, and today we'll be sharing our business research project titled From Consent to Consequence: Managing Ethical Risk in Big Text Data Practices. In the digital economy, data has become not just a resource, but a form of power. Companies like Amazon collect massive amounts of behavioral data through devices like Alexa, but many users are unaware of how much is being captured or how it is being used. Our research is driven by a central ethical and managerial concern, which asks that can behavioral profiling be justified when it can cause harm, especially to vulnerable users? We chose Alexa as a case study because it sits at the center of this debate, offering both innovation and real-time threats of intrusion. Throughout this presentation, we explore our findings using stakeholder theory and Carroll's CSR pyramid and strategic management tools also. More importantly, we aim to present practical, forward-thinking solutions that reflect responsible innovation. Ahmed, Abdullah, please move forward.
Thank you so much for such a detailed introduction, Adisola. As we know, smart devices are becoming increasingly common in households and workplaces. Amazon's Alexa alone is now over 500 million houses. These devices operate in intimate space, living rooms, bedrooms, and even children's play area. On the surface, Alexa provides convenience and assistance, but beneath that convenience lies a more troubling issue. Many users don't realize that Alexa collects behavioral patterns, voice recordings, and even children voices. In most cases, this happens passively and without informed consent. So we are faced with an important ethical dilemma. Is it acceptable to profit profit personals to collect the data without people's full awareness, particularly when the data might be used to shape behaviors or lead in an unintended harm? This is not a micro issue. It touches consumers, parents, regulators, investors, and even Amazon's internal employees. At its core, it's a question about the relationship between innovation and responsibility. Now over to Jayed Ahmed.
Thank you, Abdullah. Good morning. My name is Zaid Ahmed. Let's now take a step back to understand the broader business environment in which this issue is unfolding. And the rapid expansion of AI and smart technologies has enabled each companies to enter our private lives in ways never seen before. Jubov calls this the architecture of invisibility, where devices continuously harvest data without clear user awareness. The primary audience for our research is Amazon's senior leadership, those in charge of strategy, governance, and risks. They are the ones who must act now to align innovation with responsibility. However, several other stakeholders matter here: regulators who are pushing for stricter laws, consumers who are demanding transparency, and investors who worry about brand reputation and long term value. This is more than a data privacy issue. It's a question of competitive positioning. Ethical lapses can erode trust, weaken compliance, and ultimately diminish market leadership. That's why a decision made now will shape Amazon's future. With this broader picture in mind, we began to shape our research question around the deeper ethical and strategic concern. We wanted to move beyond surface level questions and instead asks, is it morally and managerially justifiable for Amazon to use behavioral profiling for profit when the outcomes may include manipulation, misinformation, or harm to vulnerable users? Alexa was perfect uh, case for explore this question. Unlike other teach products, it lives inside users' home, often in bedrooms, kitchen, or even children's room. It's not just listening when you ask. It's often collecting and breakdown information. This raised concern about where the line is between innovation and ethical overreach. In many cases, people assume a privacy but are unwillingly being profiled. So our research centered on redefining what responsible innovation should look like. How can Amazon lead ethically without losing its competitive edge? To guide our analysis, we selected four major frameworks. The first is Freeman's stakeholders theory. This theory emphasizes that businesses must consider the interest and well-being of all stakeholders, not just shareholders. It means customers, employees, regulators, and communities all matter. The second is Carroll's CSR pyramid, which breaks down corporate responsibility into four levels: economic, legal, ethical, and philanthropic. Together, these form a structure for ethical and sustainable decision making. These frameworks help us analyze Amazon's current behavior and risks. They are fulfilling all four levels of responsibility. Are they considering the full spectrum of stakeholders' interest? Both models also link directly to strategic success in an era shaped by AI and big data. Long-term advantage will go to companies that embed ethics at their core. Over to you, Jisan Amir.
Thank you, Jayed. Let's now look at real world evidence, because this is not just theory. In 2019, Bloomberg reported that Amazon employee had access to thousands of Alexa voice recordings. These recordings were often collected without the user's implicit consent. Even more troubling is Alexa collection of children's data. This resulted in a 25 million fine in the United States for violating COPA, the Children Online Privacy Protection Act. Public trust is also being tested. Survey shows that more than 60% of parents are uneasy about having Alexa in their children rooms. These examples shows that Amazon current practices are raising serious ethical concerns, and not just among tech experts. Ordinary users are starting to ask hard questions, and regulators are beginning to act. It's clear that reactive approach is no longer enough. Strategic leadership must address these risks head on. Let's look at the strategic implications more closely. In 2023 alone, Amazon faced over 25 million in regulatory fines related to Alexa data practices. But the real danger is not just legal, it's reputational. As consumer awareness grows, companies like Apple have already carved out market share by promoting privacy first values.
Mm,
Amazon risks being seen as failing behind if the public perception shifts from innovator to intruder. That's a serious blow to brand value. Regulations like the EU AI Act and California Kids Online Safety Act are tightening the rules. The window for voluntary action is closing quickly. Companies that delay may face accelerating compliance cost, increased public scrutiny, and declining customer loyalty. This is strategic tipping point. At third, Amazon can lead by embarrassing ethical innovation, or it will be forced to react under pressure, potentially losing ground to competitors. Our research combined secondary data sources such as investigative journalism, government reports, and academic papers. We employed thematic analysis is a method that helps identify recurring patterns across complex data. We found three major themes. First, a trust gap. Users are unaware of what Alexa collects, what or how it's used. This undermines user confidence. Second, ethical blind spots in leadership. Companies often design systems based on functionality and profitability without fully assessing ethical risk. And the third one is the rising consumer demand for transparency. People want clarity. Who is using their data and why? Together, these themes shows that while Amazon may be legally compliant, it is ethically misaligned with stakeholder expectations, and that the present a risk that need to be managed strategically. Now, Adisola, can you please start from the sides?
I totally agree with you, Shisha. Thank you. We have analyzed the risk and cross-stakeholder groups, and some troubling patterns emerged. Children and elderly users and other vulnerable population face the highest risk because they may not fully understand the implication of perceived data collection. From a managerial perspective, ignoring these ethical concerns can undermine long-term strategic success. Stakeholder theory tells us that reputations, trust, and accountability matters as much as profit. We explored two scenarios. In the first, Amazon continues as it is, short-term costs are low, and long-term risk accumulates. Regulatory fines, reputational damage, and consumer attrition. In the second, Amazon adopts a proactive ethical strategy. It incurs immediate cost and gains stronger stakeholder loyalty, brand differentiation, and reduced compliance risks. The second part clearly offers more sustainable competitive advantage. And now I would have Abdullah give the recommendations.
Thank you, Adisola. In the short-term recommendations, Amazon must take concentrate, measurable step to regain stakeholders' trust and reduce ethical risk. We propose four actions. The first one is real-time data transparency. Users should be able to see what Alexa is collecting and when. This helps restore informed consent and builds trust. Second, Amazon can improve privacy setting and user control, making them easier to understand and accessible to all users, including those with less digital literacy. The third one, restricting passive listening and anonymize stored voice data. Doing these measures protects user identity, particularly for vulnerable groups. Fourth, by linking executive performance indicator to ethical data practices. This creates internal accountability and signals a leadership responsibility.
Mm.
These actions don't just address short-term concern, they show cultural intent. They mark a shift towards ethical innovation and responsible growth. Now for the I'll go for long-term recommendations. Looking ahead, Amazon must embed ethics into the DNA of its design processes. This is what we call ethics by design. Privacy, fairness, and consent should be considered from the very beginning of product development, not just after the issue arises. We also recommend the creation of an independent data ethics board which real oversight power by public transparency. This signals seriousness to regulators, consumers, and employees alike. Ethical goals should be integrated with Amazon sustainability objectives, aligned with goal standards like the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. Lastly, ethical leadership should be repositioned not as a cost, but as a growth strategy. Companies that lead in data ethics build strong brands, attract loyal customers, and enjoy long-term market value. Being ethical isn't a side project anymore. It's a business imperative. Thank you towards the Adisola.
Thank you, Abdullah. To conclude our research, we have reviewed a growing misalignment between how Amazon collects data and what the society expects from ethical innovators. This isn't just a moral debate, it's a strategic challenge, reputational risk, regulatory pressures, and declining trust all point to one condition: change is not optional. But change is also an opportunity. Amazon doesn't have to choose between profit and ethics. With the right system and incentives and values, they can gain both. By embedding ethics into product design, strategy, and governance, Amazon can regain leadership, not just in innovation, but in responsibility. Because in today's world, trust is not just technology. Sorry, trust, not just technology, is the ultimate competitive edge. Thank you for your time and your attention.